there's so many people that come online and talk about these things and that lift me up, and I feel like it's time for me to, like, this is my first video really talking in this way, first time wanting to post on YouTube about like spirituality, whatever that means, or just reframing your mind, rewiring your mind. And yeah, I feel like for me this morning I was doing shadow work and I had to ask myself, like, why do you think that your life doesn't tend to usually go as planned? And I just wanted to share because I feel like something important is to understand your patterns, understand how you process and how you alchemize things, especially if you're shifting your reality. Um, Specifically for me, I feel like I'm always on a journey to actualization and visualization to actualization, like visualizing something and making it a reality. And in order to do that, I have to like collect evidence, and kind of like once you observe something, you know that it can be real. And when you are called to go somewhere or do something, whether it be change your job, quit your job, move to a different country, move to a different state, um, start a business, whatever it is, um, sometimes the details of how to do those things aren't always apparent to you at first. And if you're like me and I jump out impulses, sometimes the in-between stages of your journey, you don't always really know what those are, and sometimes you are thrown in a loop, or you have to pivot, you have to trust. And in the beginning, I feel like I had a problem with trusting. Like, not a problem, but it was uncomfortable for me to just not know what was going to happen and to trust my intuition and trust my guides that everything was going to work out the way that it should. And that was really crippling for me sometimes in understanding my path and even learning how to pivot. And once you understand these patterns and how you process and alchemize energy, you can really start to lean into your journey, and it won't feel like your plans are ruined or that things aren't working out for you. Changing your mindset to things are always working for me, not against me. They're not happening to me, they're happening for me, even if it makes no sense. So, with me, as an example, I was guided to move out of the country and start my journey of really learning how to farm and really connecting with the land and reclaiming my ancestral power. And I always knew that there was a specific land that I was supposed to be on. And sometimes when you're pulled into a portal, or you get really excited about changing your reality and you start to see the evidence and you get excited, sometimes that portal and that energy can really like suck you in and keep you focused on one outcome instead. Reading books like The Power of Now, or The Four Agreements, or Seven Spiritual Laws of Success really helped me, because sometimes the pure potentiality of things, the sirens, like keeping your option in your heart so open that anything can be possible. And sometimes like your reality can look in a way that you would have never imagined for yourself. And sometimes when we get pushed in a certain direction or pulled in a certain direction, we start to focus in on exactly how things are going to end up, and that cuts off the flow of you ending up here and meeting this person that gives you this opportunity, or it just cuts off that flow of the divine working in your favor and working in your life. And sometimes you just really don't know, and trusting your gut, trusting your intuition is all that we're meant to do, and trust that when you take the leap, the universe will catch you. And as soon as you surrender, it doesn't start to feel that way. Your perspective changes. Your perspective changes to just being open to trusting in your own power as well. Like trusting that wherever I go, whatever I do, my intuition will guide me to the exact place that I'm meant to be. And, I think the dark part of a lot of these things people don't really want to talk about, the alchemy of your energy, of your pain, of your confusion, of your discomfort, like those are all things you have to feel. And when you're shoved out of a reality, or like I moved to Costa Rica and I felt like I finally did what the universe was telling me to do, and that was supposed to be a period of time that I was going to be there. And unfortunately my dad passed away, and I had to rush back to the States, and that's where I am now. And none of it made sense to me, and I was really hurt and confused and worried. And in the past I would have given up. In the past I wouldn't have trusted the process. But because I have been understanding that my patterns, that I can be put in a certain situation to gain what I needed to gain, collect the evidence that I needed to collect, and when it's time to pivot, trust that, okay, you got what you needed, continue going. And I feel like specifically talking about these things is important, because not only do I feel like I don't see people like me in social media, which that's my perspective, is like I don't really see people that have my experience in life that I can relate to in that way. I see souls and spirits that are connected and tapped into source, that come on here and lift me up and really change my mind and my perspective and remind me of things that my intuition most of the time is saying, but hearing it sometimes is what makes that voice louder. So I wanted to start to share these things about my life and connect, and I hope that there are people that feel like me or resonate with me that need to hear these things. So yeah, I mean, it's a really rough journey, and no one talks about how painful sometimes it is to alchemize energy and to take situations that you're in and shift and change your mind and your perspective. It's not something that can be just easily discussed, and that's the same for every person. And like, there's beauty everywhere. There's always something to look forward to. There's always something to be thankful for. And sometimes just knowing that your plan, it's all about the planning. I had this fortune cookie that I just always put in my car, and it was like, it's not about the plan, it's about the planning. And I feel like every single time I keep on shifting through different realities and breaking things down, I always go back to that, because the planning that you do, the steps that you're taking, sometimes those first 3 or 4 steps is really all that you were meant to do, because those steps are going to lead you to the next space that you're supposed to be in. So sometimes when we focus on the outcome, we focus on, okay, I'm going to do this, and this is how my life's going to look and where I'm going to be. Sometimes that really is a detriment to you, of just, focus on what you're being called to do in these moments, what you're being called to plan, and set your intention and your desires of what you want. And time works differently than what we think, and when we're constantly in comparison of, well, I was supposed to be here by this time, and my life was supposed to look like this by 25. It's like, we don't always have to put this timeline on things, because things can completely change in 3 months, in 1 month, in 1 week. And I think it's something that we don't always talk about, and that sometimes things don't work out the way you plan it, because it was never meant to. And sometimes we feel tested, and maybe it is a test of your resilience, a test of your trust, a test of how you can alchemize these situations for your benefit. What is it teaching you? What is it showing you that you need to pay attention to? Are there some patterns that you're repeating that need to be addressed? And then sometimes it really is a blessing in disguise, and you're sent in a different direction because there's a specific person you're supposed to meet. There's a place you're supposed to ground into, a land you're supposed to step your feet on. And it's okay to not know and not have all the answers. And we're not invincible. And sometimes when we take big leaps and tragedy happens, or your capacity for joy could even be at its max, or you don't feel safe, or whatever it may be, like, your guides are going to guide you to where you're going to be in your highest vibration to continue on doing whatever you're doing. So I just wanted to come on and open this space for community, for talking about our darkness, talking about like the frustrations we go through sometimes when things don't play out the way that we think they are. And just knowing that once you pivot, once you gain whatever you need to gain through these shifts, that you can continue on. You can take the knowledge with you. You can plant seeds and invest in yourself wherever you are, and take that time to use it. Sometimes pain, discomfort, trauma, sadness is the most powerful energy that we have inside our bodies in that moment, that we can use to alchemize and use it for your benefit. You can transmute it. So don't get discouraged. Don't feel that you're failing or that you did something wrong. Know that every step you take is bringing you to the next point. It's bringing you closer to yourself. Go within, breathe, and everything's going to work out in your favor. Everything's working for you. And yeah, so I'll be making more videos about my life, and I'll put some videos of my travels in Costa Rica, and I want to open up a space for non-binary and queer people to talk about the things that they go through, especially spiritually, mentally, emotionally, especially like people of color that maybe are from families that have certain generational curses and patterns that are really difficult and hard and dark to shift through. So yeah, I just want to connect and open up this space that's been opened up for me to continue to ground into myself, even amongst really dark times and hard times. So yeah, I love you all. Feel your hand on your heart and just breathe. We're all with you. We all are connected. We all are figuring it out. You're not alone.